Welcome to our channel History of Coins, where we explore the hidden gems of numismatics. In today's video, we're diving into the fascinating world of U.S. state quarter-dollar coins, as some of these coins are rare and can make you rich overnight. In this video, we are gonna uncover the rarest coins and their values. So make sure to watch the complete video and find out if you have one of these. Now let's continue our today's video. Top 1 today, we are going to take a deep dive into one of the most fascinating coins from the United States 50 State Quarters program. It's none other than the 2001 Vermont State Quarter. At first glance, it might just look like another quarter you'd find in your pocket change. But as you know, looks can be deceiving. Some of these Vermont quarters hold incredible stories of rarity, minting errors, and collector demand that have driven their value into the thousands of dollars. So, sit back, listen carefully, and enjoy as we uncover the secrets of this remarkable coin. The Vermont State Quarter was released in 2001 as part of the U.S. Mint's ambitious 50 State Quarters program, which ran from 1999 to 2008. Each year, 5 new state quarters were issued in the order the states entered the Union. Vermont, being the 14th state admitted in 1791, got its turn in 2001. These quarters were minted at both the Philadelphia and Denver mints, and proof versions were struck at San Francisco. On the obverse, you'll see the familiar portrait of George Washington by John Flanagan. But the reverse is where the Vermont quarter truly shines. The design on the back celebrates the natural beauty and history of Vermont. It features a scene of Camel's Hump Mountain in the background, framed by maple trees being tapped for sap in the foreground. Above it all, the word Vermont stands proudly, along with the state motto, freedom and unity. The imagery is simple yet powerful, paying tribute to both the rugged landscape and the maple syrup industry that Vermont is so famous for. Now, let's talk about rarity and value. The U.S. Mint produced millions of these quarters, so finding one is not difficult. But as with many state quarters, not every coin is created equal. The real treasures are those that survived in pristine condition or those with striking errors that make them stand out from the crowd. One of the most important factors in determining the value of a Vermont quarter is its condition. Most of the coins circulated heavily, meaning they picked up scratches, wear, and lost their original luster. Collectors, however, are always hunting for coins that are in high mint state grades, coins that look almost brand new, as if they were struck yesterday. Vermont quarters graded MS66, MS67, or even higher are very scarce, and when they appear at auction, collectors are willing to pay big money to add them to their sets. But condition isn't the only factor. The real excitement comes from error coins, and the Vermont quarter is known for some spectacular errors that have made headlines in the coin collecting world. One of the most well-known is the off-center strike. This happens when the coin blank isn't properly aligned in the press, causing the design to be shifted off-center. Sometimes it's just a small shift, but in rare cases, a Vermont quarter can have as much as 50% of the design missing, leaving a blank crescent of metal. These dramatic off-center errors can be worth hundreds or even thousands of dollars, depending on how extreme they are. Another exciting error to watch for is the double die variety. This occurs when the die used to strike the coin had a slight misalignment during the hubbing process, causing parts of the design to appear doubled. On a Vermont quarter, doubling might be seen in the letters of the word Vermont, in the state motto, or even in the details of the maple trees. A double die error is one of the most desirable finds for collectors because it's rare and visually striking. Clip planchets are also worth mentioning. These are quarters that are missing a curved section, almost as if someone snipped off a piece of the edge. These clips occur when the blanking press overlaps areas of the metal strip that have already been punched. While minor clips may add only modest value, dramatic clips are highly collectible and can fetch impressive prices. That we also can't forget die cracks and die breaks. Over time, the dies that strike coins wear out, and small cracks can form. These cracks transfer to the coins as raised lines or even blobs of extra metal, often referred to as cuds. Vermont quarters with noticeable die cracks or cuds are unique pieces of minting history and very appealing to collectors who love the one-of-a-kind feel of such errors. Another group of Vermont quarters to watch closely are the proof coins struck at the San Francisco Mint. These coins were not made for circulation but for collectors, and they often feature mirror-like fields and frosted designs. However, even among proofs, rarity exists. For instance, some 2001 S-proof quarters were struck in silver, and a flawless silver proof with deep cameo contrast can be worth far more than its face value. What makes these coins so fascinating is the combination of history, artistry, and the unexpected quirks of the minting process. The Vermont quarter tells the story of a state known for its independence, natural beauty, and proud traditions. But when paired with an unusual error or found in gem condition, it transforms from pocket change into a small fortune. Collectors love these coins not just because of their potential value, but because they represent a treasure hunt that anyone can participate in. Imagine sorting through a jar of coins, maybe ones that have been sitting in your kitchen for years, and suddenly spotting a Vermont quarter that looks a little different. Maybe the design seems off-center, or maybe the details are extra sharp and the coin shines brighter than the rest. That's the thrill of coin collecting. The idea that something extraordinary might be hiding in plain sight. And now we come to the part you've been waiting for. Just how much can the rarest Vermont quarters be worth? While most of these coins will only ever be worth their face value of 25 cents, the rarest examples, those in perfect mint state condition with full strike details, or those featuring dramatic errors like doubled dies, off-center strikes, or clipped planchets, have shocked collectors with their auction results that in fact. One extraordinary Vermont state quarter from 2001 has reached a value of an unbelievable $83,000. Yes, you heard that correctly, $83,000 for a single state quartered SO. The next time you get change back at the grocery store or dig through that jar of coins on your dresser, take a closer look at the Vermont quarters. You never know, you just might be holding one of the most valuable coins in modern U.S. history. Top 2, we are going to explore the United States of America state quarter dollar from Indiana, released in 2002. Now, you might think this is just an ordinary quarter, the kind you use for parking meters or to grab a snack from a vending machine. But don't be fooled. Some of these Indiana state quarters are so rare and unique that collectors have paid incredible amounts of money to own them. This is a coin with history, symbolism, minting mysteries, and a value that could shock you. So listen carefully, enjoy this story, and maybe by the end you'll find yourself checking every single quarter in your change. The Indiana State Quarter was part of the wildly popular 50 State Quarters program, which was launched by the U.S. Mint in 1999. The program honored all 50 states in the order they entered the Union, and in 2002, Indiana was one of the 5 designs released. As the 19th state, admitted to the Union in 1816, Indiana wanted a design that reflected both its history and its place in American culture. On the obverse, as with all state quarters, we see George Washington's portrait, a classic design by John Flanagan. But it's the reverse where Indiana's spirit shines through. The coin features a race car zooming past an outline of the state of Indiana, with 19 stars encircling the design to represent its order of admission into the Union. At the bottom is the proud inscription, Crossroads of America, Indiana's motto. This design was a nod to one of Indiana's greatest claims to fame, the Indianapolis 500, one of the most famous car races in the world, as well as the state's role as a transportation hub for the country. But as every coin collector knows, beauty and history aren't the only things that make a coin valuable. Rarity, condition, and errors are what turn a simple coin into a treasure worth thousands. And the Indiana quarter has proven to be one of the most surprising entries in the state quarters program because of just that. Let's begin with rarity and condition. Millions of Indiana quarters were minted at both Philadelphia and Denver in 2002, and San Francisco struck special proof versions for collectors. That means they're not rare in the sense of being hard to find in circulation. But when it comes to gem quality examples, the story changes dramatically. Most quarters enter circulation quickly, bouncing around in people's pockets, registers, and coin jars, leaving them with scratches, nicks, and dull surfaces. Finding an Indiana quarter in pristine mint state 67 or mint state 68 condition is extremely rare. Collectors fight over these high-grade examples at auction, and when one appears in perfect condition, the bids can skyrocket. Now, let's talk about errors, the true gems for coin hunters. Errors happen when something goes wrong during the minting process, and instead of being destroyed, the coin slips out into circulation. These mistakes create unique pieces that collectors love because no two are exactly alike. Point one exciting error found on the Indiana quarter is the off-center strike. This happens when the blank planchet isn't seated properly in the press. Instead of being perfectly centered, the design appears shifted, sometimes dramatically. The more off-center the strike, the more valuable the coin becomes, especially if important details like the state outline or the race car are partially missing. Another error that has been reported on Indiana quarters is the double die variety. This occurs during the die-making process, when an image is impressed twice at slightly different angles. The result is doubling on parts of the coin, letters, numbers, or design features. Imagine seeing Indiana or Crossroads of America doubled clearly on your quarter. That's the kind of dramatic error collectors love, and those coins can bring thousands of dollars. Clipped planchets are another exciting find. These quarters appear to have a bite taken out of them, where the blanking machine cut too close to the edge of the metal strip. While small clips can be fun to see, large curved clips are especially desirable and can multiply the coin's value. Then there are die cracks and cuts. Over time, the steel dies used to strike coins wear out, and cracks begin to form. These flaws transfer onto the coins as raised lines or even blobs of extra metal along the rim. A cut is when part of the die actually breaks off, leaving a blank, raised blob on the coin. Indiana quarters with dramatic die cracks or large cuts are one of a kind and bring serious interest from collectors. Proof coins from the San Francisco Mint also deserve attention. These were struck with extra care for collectors and often featured deep mirror-like surfaces. Some proofs were even made in silver, and flawless silver proofs with high-grade designations like PR70 Deep Cameo can sell for far more than face value. While most proofs stay with collectors, sometimes they end up in circulation, and finding one in your change would be an incredible stroke of luck. What makes the Indiana quarter particularly fascinating is the way it combines American culture with numismatic surprises. The design itself is bold and unique, celebrating speed, innovation, and Indiana's role in the nation's history. Add in the possibility of minting errors, and suddenly this 25-cent piece becomes a treasure hunt in your pocket. Coin collectors are always on the lookout for stories like these. Coins that seem ordinary but turn out to be worth a fortune. The Indiana quarter is one of those coins that has captured imaginations. Imagine sitting at your kitchen table, sorting through a handful of change, and spotting something unusual about a quarter. Maybe it looks off-center, maybe the lettering looks doubled, or maybe it just has a shine that makes it stand out. That's the thrill of collecting. The possibility that at any moment, you could stumble upon something truly extraordinary. And now, for the part you've been waiting for. Just how valuable can the rarest Indiana quarters be? While most of these coins will never be worth more than their face value of 25 cents, the rarest examples, those in top condition or with dramatic minting errors, have reached values that defy expectations. Point one extraordinary Indiana State quarter from 2002 was valued at an astonishing $80,000. Yes, you heard that correctly. $80,000 for a single state quarter to S.O. The next time you get change from the store, keep an eye out for that Indiana quarter. Look closely at the details, the condition, and any unusual features. Who knows? You might be holding one of the most valuable coins in modern U.S. history right in the palm of your hand. Top 3. We are diving into one of the most popular and fascinating coins from the 50-state quarters program, a coin that honors one of the most iconic states in America, the United States of America State Quarter Dollar for New York, issued in 2001. At first glance, this might seem like just another quarter in your pocket, but the truth is, some of these New York quarters can carry enormous value, turning an ordinary piece of change into a collector's dream. So sit back, listen carefully, and enjoy this journey into the history, rarity, and extraordinary worth of the 2001 New York quarter. The state quarters program began in 1999 and quickly became one of the most successful coin programs in U.S. Mint history. Every year, 5 new designs were released to represent 5 different states, following the order in which each state joined the Union. By the time the New York quarter was released in 2001, the program had already taken the country by storm, with millions of people checking their change daily to collect each new design. The New York quarter is especially meaningful because of its powerful symbolism. On the reverse side of the coin, the design highlights the Statue of Liberty, perhaps the most famous symbol of freedom in the world. Behind Lady Liberty is a detailed outline of the state of New York, complete with the line tracing the Erie Canal, a nod to New York's role in trade, commerce, and transportation throughout American history. Surrounding the design are 19 stars, symbolizing New York's status as the 11th state to join the Union, while the inscription proudly reads, "Gateway to Freedom." This motto reflects New York's role as the entry point for millions of immigrants who arrived in the United States through Ellis Island. But beyond its history and symbolism, what truly excites coin collectors about the New York quarter is its potential rarity and value. While the U.S. Mint struck hundreds of millions of these quarters in 2001, not all of them are equal. What separates the valuable coins from the ordinary ones comes down to two main factors: condition and minting errors. Let's start with condition. The majority of New York quarters were quickly put into circulation, passed through countless hands, and tossed into jars and cash registers. That kind of wear and tear means most examples are scratched, worn, or tarnished. Finding a New York quarter in pristine mint state condition, especially in grades like MS-67 or MS-68, is incredibly rare. These high-grade examples often shine as though they were just struck, with sharp details and no distracting marks. At major coin auctions, collectors have paid large sums for such top-condition coins, as the number of perfectly preserved examples is extremely limited. Now let's talk about the most exciting part: errors. Errors are what transform a coin from ordinary to extraordinary, and the New York quarter has some truly fascinating error varieties that collectors seek out. One of the most well-known errors is the off-center strike. This happens when the blank coin isn't perfectly aligned with the dies during striking, causing the design to be shifted off to one side. Some off-center New York quarters show dramatic misalignments where parts of the Statue of Liberty or the state outline are cut off, making them one-of-a-kind treasures. The more dramatic the off-center strike, the higher the value. Another error variety is the double die error. This occurs when the die used to strike the coin receives more than one impression at slightly different angles. The result is doubling on letters, numbers, or even parts of the design. Imagine spotting a quarter where New York or Gateway to Freedom looks doubled. That's a clear sign of a rare double die variety. These coins can command thousands of dollars, depending on the clarity of the doubling. Clip planchets are another dramatic error that occasionally shows up on New York quarters. This occurs when the blank metal sheet used to create the coins is miscut, producing quarters that look like they have a bite taken out of them. While minor clips are interesting, large and dramatic clips are highly collectible and can bring in impressive prices. There are also examples of broad strikes, where the coin is struck without the collar that normally holds it in place. This causes the quarter to spread out wider than usual, creating an unusual and eye-catching shape. Collectors love these oddities, especially when the design remains clear and well-centered. Die cracks and cuds add another layer of interest. Over time, the dies used in minting develop cracks or pieces break off. These flaws leave raised lines, blobs, or missing design areas on the coins. New York quarters with dramatic die breaks or large cuds are particularly collectible because each one is completely unique. Proof versions of the New York quarter, struck at the San Francisco Mint, also deserve attention. These coins were made with special care for collectors and were not intended for everyday circulation. Some were even struck in 90% silver, giving them added appeal. In high grades, such as PR70 Deep Cameo, these proofs can sell for significant premiums. Every so often, a proof coin slips into circulation, and if you're lucky enough to find one in your change, it could be a hidden gem worth far more than 25 cents. What makes the New York quarter especially attractive to collectors is the combination of its powerful design and the potential for rare minting errors. The Statue of Liberty, the Erie Canal, and the state outline make it instantly recognizable, and when paired with unusual variations caused by minting mistakes, it becomes one of the most desirable quarters of the entire series. For coin lovers, part of the excitement is the treasure hunt itself. Imagine sitting at your table, sorting through a handful of change, and suddenly noticing that your New York quarter looks unusual. Maybe it's off-center, maybe the letters look doubled, or maybe it's just in mint-perfect condition. That moment of realization is what keeps collectors hooked, the chance that something ordinary could turn out to be extraordinary. And now comes the moment you've been waiting for. Just how much can the rarest New York State quarters be worth? While most will never be worth more than their face value, the rarest examples, especially those with dramatic errors or preserved in flawless condition, have shocked the collecting world with their auction results. Point one incredible New York State quarter from 2001 was valued at an astounding $78,000. Yes, $78,000 for a single quarter that might look ordinary at first glance. The next time you receive change, don't overlook that quarter with the Statue of Liberty. Check it carefully. Look for errors, inspect its condition, and keep in mind that coins like this have changed lives for collectors and treasure hunters alike. We're going to dive deep into one of the most eye-catching and fascinating coins from the United States 50 State Quarters program, the Arkansas State Quarter Dollar, released in 2003. At first glance, this coin might seem like just another quarter that you could receive in your everyday change. But what many people don't realize is that certain examples of this Arkansas quarter can be worth far more than face value. In fact, some rare and unique versions of this coin have shocked collectors with extraordinary prices at auctions. So, sit back, listen carefully, and enjoy this exciting journey as we explore the history, beauty, rarity, and incredible value of the 2003 Arkansas quarter. The 50 State Quarters program, launched by the U.S. Mint in 1999, was one of the most successful coin programs in American history. Each quarter in the series was dedicated to a different state, showcasing its history, culture, or natural beauty. By 2003, the program was in full swing, and millions of people across the country were eagerly waiting to see what new designs would be released that year. The Arkansas quarter was one of those designs, and it has since become a favorite among collectors. Let's take a closer look at the design. The Arkansas quarter celebrates the natural beauty of the state. On the reverse side of the coin, you'll notice a stunning diamond, a nod to the crater of Diamond State Park, the only place in the United States where the public can search for real diamonds and keep what they find. Surrounding the diamond is a graceful mallard duck in flight, symbolizing Arkansas's rich wildlife and its wetlands. Behind them, you can see rippling water, highlighting the state's many rivers, lakes, and its reputation as a land of natural resources. This combination of symbols makes the Arkansas quarter one of the most elegant and meaningful designs in the entire series. The obverse side of the coin features the familiar portrait of George Washington, a design by John Flanagan that has appeared on quarters since 1932. While the obverse looks simple and familiar, it is often on this side of the coin that rare errors are discovered, making some of these Arkansas quarters worth a small fortune. Now let's talk about why some of these coins can be so valuable. Even though millions of Arkansas quarters were minted in 2003, not all of them are equal. The value of any coin depends on two main factors: its condition and whether it contains rare minting errors. Condition is always critical. Most of the Arkansas quarters you see today are heavily circulated. They have scratches, dings, and wear from passing through countless hands, cash registers, and coin jars. But finding an Arkansas quarter in pristine mint state condition, especially in grades like MS-67 or MS-68, is extremely rare. These coins look as if they were struck yesterday. No marks, no blemishes, just brilliant detail and shine. Collectors pay impressive sums for these top-graded examples because so few survive in such flawless condition. But condition is only one part of the story. The real excitement begins with minting errors. These mistakes happen when something goes wrong during the minting process, and they can transform an ordinary Arkansas quarter into a once-in-a-lifetime treasure point. One of the most fascinating error types is the double die error. Imagine looking at the Arkansas quarter and noticing that the lettering on Arkansas or United States of America looks doubled with a shadow effect. That's the result of a die receiving two impressions at slightly different angles. These double die varieties are highly collectible, and the more dramatic the doubling, the higher the coin's value. Another error that collectors look for is the off-center strike. This happens when the blank planchet, the round piece of metal before it becomes a coin, is not properly aligned with the dies. The result is a coin where the design is shifted off to one side. Some Arkansas quarters with dramatic off-center strikes show missing parts of the mallard duck or the diamond, making them visually striking and very valuable. Then there are clipped planchets, which occur when the blank metal sheets used to make coins are miscut. This creates quarters that appear as if a chunk has been bitten out of them. Arkansas quarters with large, dramatic clips are prized by collectors, not only for their rarity, but also for their unusual appearance. Broad strikes are another variety, where the coin is struck without the restraining collar that normally gives it its perfect round shape. The result is a coin that looks stretched or distorted. A broad-struck Arkansas quarter with clear details is a fascinating error and can fetch strong prices among enthusiasts. Die cracks and cuds also make the Arkansas quarter especially collectible. Over time, the dies that strike the coins wear out or break, leaving raised lines, blobs, or missing portions of the design. These flaws make each coin unique, almost like a fingerprint. Some Arkansas quarters have been found with dramatic cuds that cover part of the design, and these are highly sought after. And let's not forget the proof versions of the Arkansas quarter. These were struck at the San Francisco Mint with extra care, polished dies, and special planchets to create coins with mirror-like fields and frosted designs. Some were even struck in 90% silver, adding to their appeal. A proof Arkansas quarter graded PR 70 deep cameo, meaning it's essentially perfect, can command impressive prices. Every so often, one of these proof coins slips into circulation by mistake, and if you find one in your change, you could be holding a hidden treasure. What makes the Arkansas quarter especially exciting is the combination of its beautiful design and the potential for rare and unusual errors. Collectors love coins that not only tell a story about American history and culture, but also stand out because of unique flaws or exceptional condition. The Arkansas quarter fits this description perfectly, which is why it continues to attract attention from coin lovers around the world. For collectors, part of the thrill comes from the hunt. Imagine pouring out your loose change and spotting an Arkansas quarter that looks just a little different. Maybe the strike is off, maybe there's doubling on the letters, or maybe it looks so perfect it shines like no other coin in your collection. That feeling of discovery, of holding a rare piece of history in your hand, is what makes coin collecting such a rewarding hobby. And now we come to the most exciting part of our story, the value. While most Arkansas quarters are worth only 25 cents, the rarest examples, especially those with dramatic errors or preserved in flawless condition, can reach jaw-dropping prices at auction. One rare Arkansas state quarter from 2003 was valued at an extraordinary $76,000. Yes, $76,000 for a single quarter that you could have easily overlooked in your pocket changed. The next time you receive a handful of quarters, take a close look before you spend them. That Arkansas quarter with the sparkling diamond and flying mallard might just be your ticket to an incredible discovery. Top 5. We are going to explore one of the more modern treasures from the beautiful quarters program, the 2016 Shawnee State Quarter. At first, it might look like just another coin in your change, but the truth is, some versions of this quarter are worth far beyond their face value. In fact, under the right circumstances, this little piece of metal can turn into a valuable collectible that every coin lover dreams of owning. So listen carefully, enjoy this video to the very end, and discover why the Shawnee quarter has become one of the most fascinating finds for coin collectors. The Shawnee quarter was released in 2016 as part of the Beautiful Quarters series, which ran from 2010 through 2021. Each coin in this program highlights a different national park or historic site in the United States, and the Shawnee quarter pays tribute to Shawnee National Forest, located in the southern region of Illinois. This forest is a breathtaking natural landmark, filled with rugged cliffs, dense woodlands, waterfalls, and the famous rock formations known as Garden of the Gods. By dedicating a quarter to Shawnee, the U.S. Mint honored both the natural beauty and the rich history of this unique part of America. The design on the reverse side of the coin is striking and instantly recognizable. It features Camel Rock, one of the most iconic formations in Shawnee National Forest. This rock is shaped almost like a camel resting in the desert, standing tall and proud against the natural landscape. Alongside Camel Rock, you'll notice a red-tailed hawk soaring gracefully through the sky, a symbol of freedom, nature, and the wild spirit of the forest. Together, these images capture the rugged beauty of Illinois' only national forest and remind us of the majesty of America's protected lands. On the obverse side of the Shawnee quarter, as always, is the classic portrait of George Washington, designed by John Flanagan. But while this side of the coin looks familiar, it's also the side where many unusual minting errors can occur. And those errors are what transform ordinary quarters into rare treasures. Now let's talk about what makes certain Shawnee quarters so special and valuable. The first factor, as always, is condition. Millions of Shawnee quarters were minted for circulation in 2016, which means most of them are now scratched, scuffed, or worn down from everyday use. But finding a Shawnee quarter in mint state condition, sharp details, no blemishes, full luster, is far more difficult. Coins graded at MS67 or higher are considered exceptional, and the scarcity of flawless examples makes them highly prized among collectors. But condition isn't the only thing that drives value. Errors and varieties are the true stars when it comes to coins like the Shawnee quarter. Let's go over some of the error types that can make these coins so extraordinary. One of the most famous error types collectors search for is the double die error. This occurs when the die used to strike the coin has been misaligned during preparation, creating a doubling effect on parts of the design. On a Shawnee quarter, this doubling might appear on the words United States of America or Liberty. If you notice those letters looking slightly shadowed or doubled, you could be holding a rare variety worth far more than 25 cents. Another type of error is the off-center strike. Imagine pulling a Shawnee quarter from your change and noticing that the design is shifted to one side, leaving part of the surface blank. That's exactly what an off-center strike looks like. The more dramatic the shift, the more collectible the coin becomes. Some off-center Shawnee quarters show only a portion of camel rock, making them both fascinating to look at and valuable to own. Clipped planchets are another error to look out for. These happen when the metal blanks that become coins are cut improperly, leaving the coin with a crescent-shaped clip. A Shawnee quarter with a dramatic clipped planchet immediately stands out and is considered a prize in any collection. Then there are broad strikes, where the coin is struck without the retaining collar that normally gives it its perfectly round shape. Broad-struck Shawnee quarters look stretched or wider than usual, and these oddities attract serious attention from error collectors. Cuds and die cracks also add to the rarity. Over time, the dies that strike coins develop cracks or breaks. When this happens, it leaves raised lines, blobs, or missing parts on the coin's surface. Some Shawnee quarters have been discovered with dramatic die breaks covering parts of the design, making each one a unique collectible. Proof versions of the Shawnee quarter also exist. These were made at the San Francisco Mint with special polished dies to create mirror-like fields and frosted designs. Some were even struck in 90% silver, which adds extra appeal. A proof Shawnee quarter graded PR70 Deep Cameo is essentially flawless and can command high values in the collector market. And occasionally, a proof coin escapes into circulation, surprising anyone lucky enough to find one in their change. Now here's what makes collecting the Shawnee quarter so exciting. It's a modern coin, meaning it's still possible to find one in circulation today. Unlike older rare coins, which have been picked over for decades, the Shawnee quarter remains relatively recent, so discoveries are still being made. Collectors love that sense of adventure. The idea that you could be holding a coin in your hand that is not only beautiful, but also rare and valuable. Coin lovers around the world agree that what makes these quarters so intriguing is the combination of their modern designs and the potential for unusual errors. When you hold a Shawnee quarter with an error, you're not just holding a coin. You're holding a piece of minting history, something that slipped through the rigorous process of the U.S. Mint and made it into the public's hands. That uniqueness is what drives collectors to pay such incredible prices. Oh, how much can the rarest Shawnee quarter be worth? While most examples are only worth face value, and higher-grade coins might fetch anywhere from a few dollars to a few hundred, the rarest of them all, the ones with dramatic errors or preserved in exceptional condition, can sell for astonishing amounts. One extraordinary example of the Shawnee quarter was valued at an incredible $74,000. Yes, $74,000 for a single quarter that might otherwise go unnoticed in your pocket change to SO the next time you find a Shawnee quarter in your wallet, your change jar, or even stuck between the cushions of your couch. Take a close look. That small piece of Illinois history could be hiding an error or condition that makes it worth a life-changing amount of money. Thank you for joining me on this journey into the fascinating world of the 2016 Shawnee State Quarter. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell so you never miss another deep dive into the hidden treasures of U.S. coins. And remember, The next time you check your pocket change, you might be holding a fortune.